selling a low-ticket digital product is great for two types of people. Number one, maybe you're looking to start a business or make money online for the first time. You don't really fancy going into the affiliate space and selling some crappy scammy product that doesn't work. And also you don't want to spend the time, effort, energy, and money to maybe invest in your own brand from scratch. Or maybe you're person number two. Maybe you're an online coach, you have a coaching program, an online course, a mastermind, and you want to find low-ticket buyers who are qualified and then ascend them into your higher-ticket coaching programs. Now, to sell these digital products, you can, of course, post 3 times a day on Instagram, start posting on TikTok, make YouTube videos. Of course, you can, and that can work. But I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you want to start selling these products fast. And the reality is, if you do it organically with free social media marketing, you have no control of how quickly you can get exposure to your product. But if you use advertising like Facebook ads, then you can start making sales as fast as tomorrow if you know what ads to run. Now, for our agency where we work with online coaches, we have made them over 20 million plus over the last couple of years with different digital products. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to break down the top 3 ads that we use whenever we're starting this type of low ticket product campaign for one of our clients. These are the stuff that we've used across a broad, different number of niches. And these are the 3 that we basically default to every single time when we're working with a client. So, and basically I'm going to go from the ones that you can literally create in 30 minutes. And these ads are really good because they start, you can see here, red, which is they can target like a warm audience who is kind of ready to buy. So these ads will pretty much start working straight away. And then as we go through the different examples, we'll go to some colder ads, which work for basically targeting a broader audience, which, they might not be ready to buy straight away, but you can basically use those ads to turn them from a non-buyer into a buyer. So if we dive into the first type of ad then, we call it like a product ad. So it's pretty simple. It's a static graphic ad, and you can see some examples here on the page right now. And it's a really simple setup. You typically have one main headline at the top of the static image. Then you would have an image in there that is typically a product image, or at least like a very eye-catching image. And then what you can also do at the bottom is also have a CTA, but that is sometimes optional. So you can see we've got the 2 examples here right now, and these are just 2 random ads that I found in the ads library. I don't know who runs these ads, or even if these are making a lot of money, but I just wanted to kind of show you an example of the ads. So you can see here that the headline typically would have a main benefit of what they can experience from your product. So here's like a decent example: write your memoir in less than 2 minutes a day. All right. So it's a very clear value proposition, and it's a very clear end result that what you are going to get after consuming their product. So it's a very direct ad. The same here. I won't read the full headline, but it's like how I make X amount of money per day, spending 1 to 2 hours working on it. Right. So again, very clear value proposition. Make 1 to 5K per day, only working 1 to 2 hours per day, right? So these ads, they have a very clear value proposition. They're very visually appealing. So you'll typically have like a product mock-up like this one, where you'd have maybe like graphics of the product, or they would be, if it's a digital product, obviously it would be like on a computer screen or a laptop, or if it's an audio, it would be on like an app or something like that. Or you can have more of like a visually appealing approach, which this guy has down here, where he's got like screenshots and stuff like that. And he's also, piquing a bit of curiosity where he's got his face. I don't know if it's him, but he's got a guy's face anyway. And he's kind of like covering it up. Again, just to pique a little bit of curiosity there. You can find a ton of these examples inside of the ads manager. So I just typed faceless at the top just because the people running the faceless offers love this type of stuff, because obviously you don't have to show your face. And even if you just like scroll through, you can see all the different types of examples that you have on here. And again, I won't run through it like forever, but you can see there's tons of different static image ads that look fairly similar, where they'll have like a main headline, and then they'll have, images of the products in there. And again, typically what we'll find is that these types of ads are going to work really well out of the gate, and they're going to target someone who is probably already like aware of your kind of offer. They might not be aware of your brand, but they're going to be aware of the solution that you're proposing to them. And therefore, like, they're more warm and more ready to buy versus someone who has never even thought about this before. So they're going to target someone who is a bit more warmer. So they're probably not going to scale as much as the other ads that I'm about to show you, but they're probably going to work really well out of the gate. Now, just because it means they don't scale doesn't mean you can't make money with these. You can spend, $1,000 a day on these types of ads, depending on your market and what you're selling, and they'll still be profitable. But are these ads going to scale where you can spend $10K a day on this type of creative? It would have to be a very wide and broad niche for that to happen. Maybe around the weight loss space or fitness space, but realistically, they're probably not going to scale that much. But if you're just looking to start out the gate and you want to test if people want to buy your low ticket product, like your offer, whatever you've decided to make a low ticket product, if you want to test and validate that offer, then these are probably the best ads to go for, because they're going to target the most warmest people. So that straight up from the off, if you run these types of ads and people don't buy from the sales page, then you probably know that you need to rework the offer, and there's no point spending loads of money or loads of time creating loads of different ads, because even the warmest people, they're not going to buy. And it's very easy to split test and optimize these types of ads, because there's only really two elements, right? There's a headline and an image. So for example, if we ran this ad here, this one here, and this worked, right? Then we can just duplicate that ad. Say we made this mock-up in Canva, we could just duplicate that ad, and we could just test a different but quite similar headline, right? So if this headline worked, then you know that obviously less than 2 minutes a day, that your target audience is obviously short on time. So that's a big benefit that they appreciate, and that sells well to them. So you could create another headline that is similar-ish to that. And you can just create tons of different variations of these and run this. You could also use the same headline but change up the image. You could use the same headline, the same product image, but maybe you could change up the background to be a bit more appealing or to stand out a little bit more in the newsfeed. There's countless ways you can optimize these ads. But the easiest and the best one is probably to just split test a load of different headlines in the beginning, so you can understand what messaging works the best. And let's say in this example, for this product, the write your memoir in less than 2 minutes a day, right? If you know that is the best headline that works because you've split tested 5 to 10 different headlines with this product image, then you know that, okay, that pain point of not having much time in the day, or the benefit of being able to finish this in less than 2 minutes a day, that's a big desire for your audience. Then you can take that and you can use that messaging in the longer ads that take a little bit longer to create, if you're filming a video or something like that. So not only are these going to convert the warmest people's first, but it's really easy to split test different messaging on this type of ads to get a better understanding of your market, to understand, okay, this is the messaging, this is the benefit that they respond to most, and then you can use that in the rest of your marketing. So that's number one. It's pretty much always the one that we will start with when we're selling a low ticket digital product. Super easy to create, and like I said, really easy to test different messaging. Number two is what we would call the real hook ads. So you would have seen this you would have seen this type of content going hard for the last year or so on Instagram, organic, but you would have seen the ads in the news feed as well. Typically what this looks like is it will be a video that can be anywhere between 5 to 15 seconds long. So it's a super short reel, and it can look a little bit like this. And there's some B-roll in the background, and it will typically have one headline, one piece of text, in the middle of the video, and that would be the hook. And the CTA could be to either read the caption or to click the button to learn more, or in this example, which again I just pulled randomly from the Meta Ads library, it's asking you to comment. So the main things to think about here is, and again, another reason why I like this type of ad is Number one, it's really quick and easy to create because it's like a 15-second max video and it's just B-roll. So like it's very easy for anyone to go out and film some B-roll, or it's quite easy to find like B-roll from the internet that you can also use on your ads. One of the main things though is that typically what you want to do is make sure that the B-roll is somewhat relevant to the ad. It actually doesn't have to be that relevant, but obviously the more relevant it is to your ideal customer, then probably the higher chances are that it's going to convert. What do I mean by relevant? Well, for example, if you're teaching people like how to make money from a laptop, then you could just literally sit down at your desk like I am now, put a camera there, film me just typing on my laptop for 10 seconds, and that would be some good B-roll, right? If you're teaching people how to like create a business and live a laptop lifestyle, then guess what? You can go and be one of those douches that goes and films themselves on the laptop, on the sunbed, which is like the worst place to fucking work in the world because you can't see anything because the sun glare is just too harsh. But anyway, if you were doing that type of offer, then yeah, you would film yourself. Or you see, I'm going to go on a rant here. I see people in like fucking Dubai, they're in like a pool party, and they've got like a shisha and they've got the laptop on the side of the pool. And I'm like, that is the most fucking inconvenient place to start working ever, on the side of a pool. Are you kidding me? Anyway, if you want to be like one of those losers, you can do that. If you're in the fitness space, just film yourself going to the gym. If your low ticket digital product is teaching people how to squat properly, then guess what? Your B-roll can just be of you squatting in the squat rack at the gym. If you're doing like a meditation low ticket product, teaching people how to meditate properly, then guess what? Your B-roll is probably going to have someone like sat on a meditation cushion or got their headphones on, sat down on a chair, listening to a meditation track. Again, like common sense, just try and make it as relevant, but it doesn't have to be like super specific. And then you're going to have some music, which I didn't actually write on here. You're going to have some music in the background. Again, you can use some like trending sounds from Instagram, but I don't think the music is that important. Obviously, again, if your low ticket product is teaching people how to meditate, then you obviously don't want Linkin Park playing on the background of the music, right? So you've got to use a little bit of common sense, which is some nice trending background music. But the secret sauce, which isn't really secret whatsoever, is the type of hooks that you want to create. So there's a bunch of different hooks that we will test when we're launching these ads for our client. So I'll run through them and I'll give you some examples. So like a curiosity hook, a CTA focus hook, a research/data hook, a pain hook, a desire hook, or an in-trend hook. So we would basically do our research on the client and we'll come up with like maybe like some pain points or desires or just something that we know is going to hook our ideal customer in. And we'll start like brainstorming basically different types of headlines that we can use. And basically all that's going to happen is you're going to find a relevant B-roll, you're going to find trending sound, you're going to put them together, and then on top of it, just like this, you're going to have basically the headline pop up. Let's see if we can find some examples inside of the Meta Ads library. It'll be a little bit like this. I don't even know if you can hear this music, but it's obviously just some random B-roll here. This person's got a little bit too much captions on it. But let me see if I can find another example. But now we decided not to load. So should have probably found this example there, but you can see more of the product images. That's probably not it. I swear I found a load of these before on this exact page, and then as I'm trying to do it, here we go. You can see this one here. This guy's teaching you how to make money with a faceless channel, and he's obviously got like, supercars, pretty woman, basically all the desires of like a fucking 17-year-old boy. He's got that playing in the background, and then he's got like a headline here, which, oh gosh. Let's just go to add details because I don't know what that looks like on the screen. And then he's got like a quote. I want to build an online business, but I don't want to be on camera. How can I automate my business and make money without showing my face? I think that's a pretty lazy hook, honestly, but you can see that what he's going for, which he's touching on the pain points of people want to make money online, but they don't want to be on camera, right? So for him, he's done his research, even though I don't really like that hook. He's done his research. He's found that that's a big pain point for his ideal customer. So he's basically putting that headline on there. So I would probably suggest that you be a little bit more strategic and do a bit more research and come up with a bit better hooks other than just like quoting a quote that isn't actually a quote and probably not that realistic. But basically what we do, and I don't have time in this video to like run through this, but like number one, if you're already in the niche and you know your ideal customer, you can just look at the types of ads that people are running, and you can come up with yourself. Like you will know your customer enough. Like, okay, this is kind of like their pain point. But if you're going into like a brand new niche, if you're like me and you run an agency and you work with different people in different industries, then you can do some research with ChatGPT, right? Everyone's using AI now to create these ads, which is another reason why these types of ads work so well, because if you know how to use ChatGPT, then you can come up with like a million different hooks that you can test, and you can do that within like 5 minutes. And then you've got like hundreds of ads that you can actually test. Because again, the main thing here isn't the B-roll, it's not the music, it's the hook. If your hook is good, then the ad will perform. So for some of you who will know my stuff, you know that our agency works with a lot of people on like the law of attraction, spiritual space. So recently we were running a low ticket product for like a scripting guide or a scripting product. So for those of you who don't know, scripting is like a manifestation technique where you script your desires and it manifests. Won't go into it, but that's kind of like, that was the product, right? Now, our ideal customer for this particular product, and again, what I will say is, before I go into this, like which one you pick here, if you want to do a curiosity one, a CTA focus one, a research data one, it depends on the customer, and it depends like their like awareness level of your offer, right? Now, for our customer specifically, our customer had basically tried scripting before or different manifestation techniques before, but most likely they've tried to script before, but it hasn't worked for them, right? So they were already like solution aware in sense of like they knew that like scripting was the solution to like how to basically manifest, but they tried before and it's not worked for them. So for us, like these are like the different, and again, I can maybe do a different video on like the different, how we actually get this. Because what most people will do is like, I am selling a low ticket digital product that sells a scripting course. Come up with some headlines that I can use in a Facebook ad that's going to sell this course, right? They'll use a prompt like that and it's bullshit, right? Obviously, in order to like get the best hooks, you need to do some research. So we have quite like I would say it's a fairly simple, but quite in-depth research process with ChatGPT on how we can basically give it the knowledge around our ideal customer and our product. And then from that, once we've gone through that process, then we can start asking ChatGPT to come up with some hooks. Because again, now it's got the context and the information to actually create some that are going to be, high converting for our offer. So if you're interested in seeing that process, maybe I'll make another video. Just let me know in the comments. But for now, I went through that process and then ChatGPT spat out these different headlines. And look, these aren't going to be all like Grand Slam home runs. Some of them I'm not going to use at all, but some of them are going to be relevant, right? Now, I've highlighted in green here the ones that are going to be most relevant for our offer. And the reason why is because they're speaking to our customer about where they are currently at. So like I mentioned, our ideal customer in this scenario is someone who has tried our solution before, or not our specific solution, but the solution of scripting, and it's failed for them, right? So these hooks here, which is basically like a mistake hook, which is basically the idea behind a mistake hook is you've tried this solution before, it's not worked for you, this is why, right? So again, a lot of these, I won't go into the details because like scripting stuff isn't going to be that relevant, but if you script like this, you're blocking your own manifestations, right? So if someone's tried scripting before and it's not worked, if they see that headline on their phone, they're going to be like, oh shit, maybe I was doing it wrong. I need to find out what they mean. What is like what? Like I need to understand if I am that person who's scripting like this, right? So then they're going to read the rest of the ad, or they're going to click through and go to the sales page. Again, this one, pretty simple. Scripting doesn't work for you, it's because you're making this mistake. Again, if someone has been trying to script for manifestation and it's not worked, they're going to be pretty intrigued with that hook. And again, similar one here as well, like do this instead hook. If scripting hasn't worked for you, try this instead. Scripting isn't the problem, it's how you're doing it. Make this one tweak that's a bit hypey. I probably wouldn't use this 10x one. Scripting works for people and not others because of this key reason, right? Boom, right? Because again, people will read that and they'll be like, yes, I can see that online scripting is working for all these people who are posting their success stories online, but for me, it's not worked. Why? Well, apparently there's one key reason. I'm going to go and, click and read and figure out what that is. Now, when I said it's important to pick the ones that are relevant to where your customer is at, because again, we're targeting someone who has already tried our solution. Again, not our own product, but our competitors' products probably, or at least gone to find out the solution for themselves on YouTube, and it's not worked for them. But if you're introducing someone for the first time ever, what affiliate marketing is, then obviously you wouldn't, if your ideal customer is someone who doesn't know anything about affiliate marketing and you want to be the person who introduces them to affiliate marketing, then obviously you don't want to do a hook that's like, oh, are you making these mistakes with affiliate marketing? Because obviously if your ideal customer is someone who isn't even aware of affiliate marketing, then obviously those hooks aren't going to work for them. So again, depending on the product and the offer and your ideal customer and where their awareness level is at, then that is going to dictate what type of hooks you want to use. So again, these are just some examples, but again, there's a million different types of hooks. It all just comes down to your customer. And again, you can do some more trending stuff. So the POV trend, again, I think I said this on a previous video, it's not even a trend anymore. It's just part of Instagram, I feel like right now, probably TikTok, but I don't really use TikTok. So again, if you know that there's a certain trend that's getting a lot of engagement on Instagram, then you can start creating an ad that looks like that and tapping into that trend, because that's probably going to make the engagement of the ad go really high. Okay, so that's the real hooks. And again, what's really easy, what's really good about this type of ad, super quick to create, and you can test different headlines and messaging really easily. So you can see with the first two, right? The first two ads, the reason, one of the reasons why we use these ads is because you can test messaging really quickly. Because I don't know about you, but especially if when we're working with clients, depending on the client, some of them take a while to create videos, right? So if the first ad that we're going to write to sell their low ticket digital product is a 5-minute VSL, then that could take a little bit of time to film. And number one, it takes a bit of time investment for them as well. So they're going to make the ad. And then if we run the ad and it doesn't work because the messaging is off, then we've just wasted a load of time and, we're not making any money. Or even if it's you yourself, if you go and spend a couple of days filming a load of ads and then you test it and none of it worked, then that's just a lot of time wasted. With this, we can create hundreds of ads really, really quickly, regardless of if it's the real ad or the product image, and we can test which messaging works the best, right? We can test different pain points, different desires, different awareness levels, right? So maybe for the scripting example, we can have one ad set that's running ads that is targeting or speaking to people that have tried with scripting, but they've failed before. And maybe for the next one we want to test, we're targeting people who have never tried scripting before, but they just want to manifest, right? And we could target that, and we could target the different types of personas. So the reason why I love these two types of ads is because you can test the messaging really, really quickly. And also you can test the offer, right? For the thing is low ticket digital products, you don't want to go and create a digital product that is oh, I can help you with everything. And I've done different videos on the types of products that you can sell. But for example, not a good example of an example of not a good digital product to sell is I can help you make money with Amazon FBA. Buy my $27 course and it's going to teach you everything that you need to know about Amazon FBA. Because that's too wide, right? But what it could be is I'm going to show you how to pick the best products. I'm going to show you how to do your listing. I'm going to show you how to advertise on Amazon to scale your Amazon store. They're 3 different digital products. And sometimes, a little bit like testing ads, you have to test a few different products to see which one actually hits with the market and actually can scale on cold traffic. Now, the easiest way to test those is to run ads to them. Now, if you're spending, days filming a few ads from the off to test these products, and the testing phase is going to be really long. Whereas if you can create a nice, simple sales page, you can very quickly, with a graphic designer or Canva or ChatGPT, and you can create hundreds of ads and you can just test the messaging really quickly and you can test the offers. you could have like 3 different digital product ideas, and within the space of like 2 weeks, you could like test all of them and you could figure out what the winner is. And then you can kind of go all in on that. You can test the messaging on that, and then you can, create more in-depth ads. So again, that's another reason why I love doing this or using these types of ads, because like the feedback is really, really quick and you can really test and see what's working. Because again, these ads aren't really like, some of them could scale, but like they're not going to like scale as well as a VSL, but a VSL could take you days to create. And if you get the messaging wrong, or you get the hook wrong, or you get the main promise wrong, then you've just wasted a lot of time. So it's better to test the messaging, the benefits, the hooks with these short ads that are quick to create. And then you can spend more time investment creating longer ads, which leads me on to the next one that we like to do is like a value or a VSL. Now, a VSL, I don't mean a VSL like it has to be 5, 10, 20, 50 minutes long, right? Typically, like VSLs could be that long. I'm talking, it could be like 2-3 minutes, right? So that's kind of like a value video / like a VSL, depends what you want to call it. So once we've tested the messaging, like I mentioned, with those other ads, then we'll be like, right, the hook of, what was the hook before? Of like writing your memoir in less than 2 minutes a day. Okay, that's the main hook or the main benefit that our audience resonated with. Then I'm going to create like a 2 to 3 minute value video that focuses on that pain point, right? So that data is going to inform your longer version of these ads. Now, I'll run through the video flow that we like to do for all of these. And there's 5 key elements. Now, each element can be different. You can test different variations, but this is kind of like the flow that we would like recommend sticking to. So you're going to have a hook. You're going to have a story, education, proof, CTA. So a hook is similar to what we're kind of testing here. For example, if you know that write your memoir in less than 2 minutes a day, that's kind of like the main benefit that your audience likes, then you could create 3 different hooks that are talking about that benefit in some way, right? And you can split test the hook. Then you're gonna have a story. So you could use like your own personal story or a client's personal story on how your product or your solution like got them a result. You could do like a very typical like 0 to hero story. I was struggling with all these pain points. Then I came across this unique solution. And after I used this unique solution, I got this benefit, this benefit, this benefit, and this benefit, right? Very simple like story, like 0 to hero story. So you can do that very, very quickly. And then you can go into the education piece on educating them on why like your product is the best, or why your product works better than others, or why your product will work for them even if they've like failed at different stuff in the past. So like in my other client's example where we were talking about the scripting, we would talk about why our specific scripting process works better than alternatives. Or what you can also do, if you don't want to educate them on why your solution is better than the competition, you can also educate them on why they are experiencing the pain. So for example, we could say, hey, you've been trying scripting, you're experiencing this, this, and this. Well, the reason why you're experiencing all these pain points is because of this. And we can explain to them in like a logical way of like, hey, this is why what you're trying isn't working. And then they're going to be like, oh, that makes sense, right? And then once you have them, you give them that ha-ha moment and you give them that breakthrough, then they're going to look to you for the solution, right? Once you do that, then you give them the proof and be like, hey, this is the reason why you're experiencing all this pain, or this is the reason why my way of doing scripting, for example, is better than everyone else. Now you've explained it to them, you still need to overcome their skepticism, because it's fine for you to be like, oh, this is the reason why. And in their head, they might be like, oh yeah, that makes sense, but there's still a bit of skepticism there. So that's when you need to show them the social proof. Then you just need to hit them with like a load of testimonials, or if you've got like one really great testimonial, it could even be yourself, but if you've got like a really great client testimonial, then use that, and then you can overcome the skepticism, and then do the CTA, right? So the idea of this ad is to basically, like I mentioned in the beginning, this is going to a slightly colder audience. So the goal is to basically educate them and transition the audience from cold to warm, right? And I don't mean cold to warm in the sense of like, they've never heard of you before, but now they know you, even though that is kind of what it's doing. But if we look at like the awareness levels, what we're basically targeting here is like The first two ads could probably say that they're going to be targeting like most aware, product aware, and a little bit of like solution aware. Whereas this VSL or this value video, they can actually target people who are problem aware, right? So again, like I mentioned, what we could do here is educate them on why they're experiencing their problem. So if these people are problem aware, but they're not solution aware, we can educate them why they're experiencing this problem, and then we give them the solution. So we basically transition them from solution aware, and then obviously like with the CTA, we can transition them to product aware with the testimonials as well. Or they might be already solution aware, and then if we educate them on why our solution is better than the alternatives, then they become product aware, and then obviously like we have the CTA. So like the goal with that ad is to basically transition people who are colder. So again, as you can see, it's like a triangle. So obviously problem aware and unaware, these are the bigger parts of the market, right? So that's why I said start with these ads, because these target people who are more aware of your product or your solution, get the sales in, validate the product, and then you can scale with these types of value videos that once you've dialed in the messaging and you know what your ideal customer wants, then you can then scale to a broader audience. So thanks for watching the video. If you've got any questions on our process for these ads, then let me know. And if you've got any other videos that you would like to see on low ticket digital products, let me know as well. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.